Good evening, everyone, and welcome.
Good evening, Kimberly.
Good evening,
Now
Terry.
for attention.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome to this evening's introductory presentation to the Excellence Series. And welcome to everyone live. We're live on Facebook, streaming through, so a big hello to everyone who is dialing in. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. My name is Kimberly Nonis, and I'm a program leader with Excellence Seminars International, and I have been involved with these programs now for over 22 years. I started when I was 2, and these programs
We celebrate those things.
Oh, thank you. To say that, these programs have dramatically impacted me and the way I live my life. I mean, so much so that I really think of my life as 2 distinct parts. There was my life prior to taking the pursuit of excellence, and then my life after taking the pursuit of excellence. And now I have the privilege of leading these life-enriching programs. So pleased to be here this evening to tell you a little bit more about these great courses and have a wonderful opportunity for all of our guests here tonight. So I'm curious, just a check-in for those of you here. With a show of hands, how many of you are here because a graduate invited you to be here this evening to discover more about what our courses are about? Okay, fabulous, great, fantastic. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Okay, questions for all of you here in the room. How many of you, with a show of hands, still have goals in your life that you have yet to achieve? Yeah. Okay, here's a big juicy one. How about a lifelong dream? How many of you have a big lifelong dream already? Yeah, that you are still in the process of actualizing for yourself. Yeah. Okay, so what are some of the things, what would you say? Shout out, what are some of the things that are getting in your way of getting those goals or achieving that dream for yourself? What gets in the way for you? Myself. What else? Kat, sorry?
Procrastination.
Yes, procrastination. Anyone else procrastinating? Anyone procrastinating on answering? Yeah, what else? What are some of the things that you're telling yourself?
Fear.
Fear of what? Do you know what?
Failure.
Fear of failure. Yeah. What else over here?
Maybe funds or money.
Yes.
Resources.
Yeah, not enough money. Mm-hmm.
Fear of
What else?
success.
Ah, yeah, fear of success. Isn't that interesting? There's as many of us that have fear of failure as there is of us that have fear of success. Yeah.
Fear of change.
What else? What else gets in your way of getting goals for yourself?
Confidence, lack of confidence.
Just often a lack of confidence. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. How many else agree with that? Yeah, many hands here. Yeah.
Lack of clarity.
Lack of clarity. Yeah, I don't know for sure. I don't know what I want. I don't know if this is better than this. Yeah, there's a variety of things that get in our way. Yeah. So it sounds that for most of us in here then, the reality is you're going to need to make some shifts. You're going to need to make some shifts. Otherwise, you'd very likely have what it is that you say you really want in your life. The great news is that you're in the right place in being here tonight. You see, we encourage our graduates to bring people who are really important to them, people who they really value in their lives, to come out to discover more about the Excellence Series and to extend an invitation to all of you to consider these courses as your next great step forward in life. Why? Because after taking the Excellence Series, our graduates start creating the kind of results they say they really want for themselves. They start living their lives and participating in their lives that is in a way that really creates more meaning for them, more purpose for them. They become more committed than ever to living a rich, full life for themselves. And we believe that when people are committed to living a purposeful and an intentional life for themselves, it gets a lot easier when we surround ourselves with like-minded people. People who also want to create that kind of journey for themselves, whatever that might be for you. And really even allowing yourself permission to discover what a big, juicy life for you might even look like. Yeah, because when we surround ourselves with like-minded people, it creates a special kind of energy known as synergy. And that synergy really turns into and creates a momentum. And that is the perfect recipe for amplifying really great results in life. So, if you are invited here this evening from a graduate of one of our courses, this is fantastic. These events are by invitation, and it's my hunch that they had a really good experience in this program, got some great value out of it, and they want you to have the same opportunity for yourself as well to check it out. It's really as straightforward as that. That is what tonight is all about. So, this evening, my intention is to give you an overview of what the Excellence Series is all about. I want to extend an invitation to you to begin your own journey of personal excellence and to help you discover perhaps how your present context is contributing to your results and therefore your present reality in life. And at the end of my presentation this evening, you'll have an opportunity to reserve yourself a seat in our first and foundational program, The Pursuit of Excellence. All right then. So, what do you think of this quote? Thoughts become perception, perception becomes reality. Alter your thoughts and they'll alter your reality. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think so too. So a little bit about the Excellence Series. The Excellence Series is actually a trilogy of 3 courses. It starts with our foundational program, which is the Pursuit of Excellence. It's followed up with the Wall, and then it's capped off with the Advancement of Excellence. I think that it's really important to say that these courses are designed to really support you in breaking down the process of growing more aware, growing more conscious of your strengths and your limitations. The Excellence Series was created with the intention of encouraging people to really flourish in their lives, to really realize their fullest potential, to grow more conscious, more self-aware, to navigate the journey of life with your own level of personal mastery. These programs are adult education at its finest. They are condensed into a format to be most effective for your time, your money, and energy, well invested into these programs. For well over 40 years now, the Excellence Series has seen hundreds of thousands of graduates all around the world. No surprise, we have many corporate clients. Companies and government agencies love to send their people, their teams of people to come and take our courses. But I would say that the majority of our clients are everyday people like you and I. Everyday people, people like you and I who have goals that yet to achieve, dreams still unfolding and chasing in life. People who are seeking a healthier and more balanced lifestyle for both mind and body. People who want to live a life with more intention and purpose to it. Who are wanting to be more mindful and more fulfilled along the journey. These programs really awakened within me a desire to discover more about myself, you know, and really left me insatiably curious and hungry to ask the question, you know, what is the greatest expression of myself yet to be? You know, and even to, you know, prior to taking this course, I never even thought like that. That was just not even on my radar, thinking about what is the greatest expression of myself yet to unfold. I didn't even know what half of those words really meant, quite frankly. But you see, the Excellence Series is all about self-discovery and empowerment. And our programs offer people an opportunity to really discover more about who they are in fun and engaging and interesting and often thought-provoking ways. The level of self-awareness that you gain in these series of courses really empower you to nourish the aspects of yourself that keep you flourishing and moving forward in your life. Really breathing more into that. And equally and even more importantly, bringing awareness to the aspects of yourself that may in fact be limiting you, or even impacting you negatively, or fully even holding you back from achieving your goals and your dreams. It's really important to do this kind of personal work. this type of self-discovery. There's so much that we are not conscious of that is actually running the show. Old deep-rooted beliefs, old deep-rooted emotions, all of my past experiences are really directly informing my perspective. So how many of you are already aware of some past experiences that are impacting your present day reality? Show of hands. Almost everybody here in the room raise their hand. How many of you would say you have some habits or patterns that keep repeating in your life that you'd really like to transform for yourself? Oh yeah, big hands up. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Did you know, yes, Kale, yes. Did you know that 95% of who you are, 95% of who you are by the age of 35 rests in your subconscious mind? And the subconscious mind is held in the whole body. This is the notion of where mind and body connection is so vital. It is so important when we're wanting to make real change, lasting change in our lives. Because we have probably been thinking about all those things that we're going to be doing for years. But if the thinking isn't translating down into some sort of action, there is some block going on. And that is the beauty of these courses. It helps you to uncover for yourself your stopping places. Yeah, and you know, when we do something over and over again, like those habits or patterns, you know, we actually neurochemically condition the body to memorize that experience. The body is brilliant. And this is when it becomes a habit, because it goes underground into that subconscious, and all of this develops a set of skills and conditioned responses, all of which become second nature to us. We don't even give it a thought. It's really similar to having like an operating system managing things in the background. I'll give you a quick example of what I mean. Everybody just rest your arms down in your lap, okay? And you can do this at home too. So, everybody just cross your arms. Right? Okay, so here's me, cross my arms. Okay, unfold your arms and cross them in the opposite way. Isn't that interesting? It really takes consciousness to think about the way I'm going to do it. Where when I first asked you to cross your arms, you just did it. You didn't even give it a thought, because your body has memorized the experience of crossing the arms. So it will always cross the arms the same way all the time. Same with crossing your legs. You will instinctively always cross your leg in a certain direction. We don't think about it. It's second nature. And if you want to be able to go past those reasons that you have for yourself for not having those goals or those dreams in your life, or changing those habits or those patterns that keep repeating, you're going to need to become more familiar with those subconscious sentiments. In other words, you're going to need to grow more aware, more conscious of yourself, because if nothing changes inside here, nothing is going to change outside of here. This is the foundation for starting to make change in your life in this direction. So, the Pursuit of Excellence. The Pursuit of Excellence is the first course offered in the Excellence series, and it lays the groundwork, the foundation for this particular intention. This course is designed to support you in gaining more clarity about what is truly most important to you. And then really to examine where you're prioritizing your resources, given what it is that you say is so important to you. And specifically, the Pursuit of Excellence assists you in gaining more awareness of your various belief systems, including all those thoughts and emotions, and how some of those may be limiting you, even holding you back in a variety of different ways. That's the first part of making real change, is becoming familiar with those subconscious sentiments, those underpinnings of those thoughts, those beliefs and emotions. The second part in making real change is then taking that awareness and really shifting it, and then integrating these shifts with supportive strategies, tools, and concepts that really foster a more effective approach at living your best life, whatever that is for you. Now, when you do this, your brain starts to fire in new sequences. Every time your brain is learning something new, it starts to fire new synapses, and it starts to work differently. Now you're literally changing your mind. And that's because one of the principles of neuroscience is that neurons that fire together will wire together. And the more you do it, the stronger the synapses grows. And this is what creates long-lasting change. This produces a whole new level of mind that offers you a far more empowering approach towards all aspects of life and really puts you in the driver's seat of creating the kind of life it is that you say you really want for yourself. So this is the first step in making change, but that's not enough. It's just not enough to do that. I'll tell you straight up. The change can't be just intellectual. It also has to drop from your head into your heart. How many of you have heard that expression, the longest road traveled in life is the road from here to here? This is the next important piece, and this is where the wall comes in. The wall is the second course offered in the Excellence series, and it's one of our flagship programs. You see, when your body starts to embrace the new mindset, the new you, it begins to get an emotional experience. So there's a biochemical response that happens in the body. And your body, as your unconscious mind, begins to get signals neurologically, biochemically, and literally your physiology starts to change. Hard science. And your body-mind is brilliant at memorizing the experience. When you bring your body and your mind into alignment and they're working together in attunement, you literally recondition the body to a new mind. Now you're in a new state of being. When you unlearn your old self and relearn something new about yourself, you actually prune away old synapses in the brain. And then it starts firing and wiring new connections. But the reality is most people aren't in alignment. I don't know about you, but I see and hear this all the time out there. I mean, most people live in a duality. You know, they think positive, but feel negative. You know, they want abundance, but feel lack. You know, they want change, but they feel fear of change. And the wall is really designed for those who are wanting to bring that mind and body into alignment. It's for those who are wanting to play a bigger game in life. And for those who want to break past those walls, those stopping places that we hit along the way to our goals and our lifelong dreams. Those of us, you know, I call them the big guns out there, the ones that want to get out there and really make the most out of this journey, who want to get past those reasons, excuses, and justifiers. The wall also provides a really unique opportunity to do some very deep and very meaningful work for yourself, clarifying what living with purpose looks like for you. You know, what creates meaning for you along the journey? I think so often we're so focused on the destinations that we forget about enjoying the journey. And the wall is designed to support you in getting really clear about what living a purposeful experience is for you personally. You know, what feeds you? What enriches the experience for you? What makes your soul sing? Like, what really lights you up? It's your birthright to experience that. It's what you're here for. And then the grand finale is the advancement of excellence. And this particular course is structured like a working practicum. And it's spread out over a span of about 7 to 8 weeks, which really lays a solid foundation within which to fully integrate all of the tools and concepts that you learn in the pursuit of excellence and on the wall and about yourself. You know, it really helps to deepen the understanding of it. So it's not just higher level learning left in the program room. so that you really integrate it into your life. I mean, how many of you have had this experience? You've either read a really good book, got some good tips, or you went to a really good seminar and you thought, oh, this is it. This is the game changer. How many of you have had that? And then how many, keep your hands up. How many of you, lots of hands right now. How many of you kept it? How many of it dropped? Oh, it's so interesting. It's so interesting. I love that about the trilogy. It's really structured so that you deepen your understanding. And the advancement of excellence comes with huge bonuses. I mean, one of your secret weapons is you get a coach and you build your own personal team and you meet with them weekly to help you really achieve your goals. The rubber really hits the road in the advancement of excellence. Yeah. So as you can see, the Excellence series works as a trilogy, building upon each other, progressing you to a higher and higher level of living, a more effective way to move forward in your life. So ask me, or let me ask you then, with a show of hands, how many of you really are ready to get past those reasons and excuses that you have for yourself? Because you need to be ready. If you're not really ready, then you're just going to be on the treadmill. You know, you have to decide that for yourself. And I believe that now is good. Now is a good time. Because you're likely then going to need to make some changes. Because the way you've been doing, whatever you've been doing, is giving you the results that you're getting right now. So the first step in making some changes starts with getting deeper into your own mindset, and that's what the pursuit of excellence is all about. See, many of us aren't really certain about what it is exactly about our mindset that is really impacting our results or our experience in life. We just know that we're not completely satisfied somehow. You know, or we just are aware that we have these habits and patterns that keep playing out and giving us the same results, but we don't quite know how to make the change. I mean, this was certainly true for myself. You know, while I had goals for myself that I was achieving in my life, and I was doing all the things that I thought were the right things to be doing in life. I mean, I had a successful and growing career. I had married my childhood sweetheart. You know, we had a great home. You know, we had 2.2 cars in the driveway. We had a great dog, and we had a great social network, really good friends. And, you know, by all accounts, it looked like I was living the dream. But the truth was, I felt really deeply unsatisfied. Really deeply unhappy inside. And even though outside I was doing all the right things, I felt hollow inside. And in fact, I actually felt really ashamed about that. I felt guilty about it because I thought, what is wrong with me? I have all of this great stuff going on in my life, and I am deeply unhappy, deeply unsatisfied. And one of the very first things that I discovered about myself when I took the pursuit of excellence was that I was playing a huge perfectionist game in life. Any other fellow perfectionists here? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, a little bit in here. Yeah. Well, I now consider myself a perfectionist in recovery. Because really, for every great accomplishment that I had in my life, my own personal context of myself was, oh, I could have just done that so much better. You know, and I can't believe, I'd still get very critical. And then I'd start coulding myself. I should just feel happier about this. I should just be a better person. I should just be more tolerant. And then I had other stories going on that it's like, when this happens, then I'm going to be happier. You know, when this gets handled, then everything for me is going to change. And the self-talk, the negative self-talk was relentless for me in my head. It was non-stop. I would get that invisible stick out and I'd give myself a really good whack. You know, woulda, shoulda, coulda, never good enough, can't believe I did that. Oh, I'm so embarrassed, I was so stupid. I mean, all this stuff would go on. And inevitably, I would sabotage myself and my experience. No matter how good it was, I would still find a way to shoot a hole in it or be critical towards myself or the situation. Anyone here relate to this? See how many of us are the same. This is what I find so interesting and reassuring all at the same time. We are all so similar, and yet we think we're the only one often. So my own personal context window, which is really a summary of my personal belief systems, of myself and the world around me, was quite frankly really self-limiting. It was self-demeaning. really sabotaging, and it was dramatically affecting the quality of my life in every arena that I was in. You see, the context window is the foundation of everything. So I want to give you a little bit of a sneak preview of this. See, all of us have our own personal context window. And this window floats around in front of us 24/7, 365. And this window is the window within which I view all the events and experiences and stories of my life through. It creates perspective for me. It's my meaning maker. And shapes our experiences. So the thing is about this window is it's not just a nice clear shiny pane of glass. It's framed, first of all, by my own personal beliefs and my opinions and my attitudes about me, about you, about the world. And when I hold on to those beliefs and opinions and attitudes about all that is long enough, and I get enough of an emotional charge and connection to it, they fall under a category of my own set of personal truths. So this is what I hold to be true about me, about you, about the world in general. And what's so interesting about the context window is everyone has their own unique window, right? I mean, my personal truths might be very different than Steph's or Mark's or Shirley's, you know, depending on a whole bunch of factors. In fact, research actually shows that the foundation, the underpinnings of all of this window is really established in ages 0 to 5 in life. So in those early years of living, what most impacts our belief systems? Our parents, absolutely. What else? Yeah, TV, media of all sorts, parents, friends, and then after 5, I go to school, and then I meet people with, you know, different opinions, different truths. I modify some of my truths. As I go on through life, there's a variety of things that impact me, and they all create this filter. But by far and large, the number one thing that impacts our context window is our experiences in life. Number one thing. Starts off at the foundation, and then we continue to modify it from there on in as we go. I mean, we're definitely a product of our environment, but number one is experiences. Based on our experiences, we learn and discover things about ourselves, about the world around us, and we start adding beliefs, adopting different opinions. Some of them help us to flourish and move forward in life, and some of them really hold us back and limit us. Especially those self-limiting things that we heard directly and indirectly throughout the journey. We really add those into our particular context window. And some of them really start to limit us, particularly when we examine our own potentiality. And initially, I mean, we really start off fearless in life. I mean, look at all the kids on the ski hills. I mean, clearly they have no fear. Fear is a learned response. You know, we don't have fear. If we came born with fear, we would never stand up to start walking, because that would be afraid. We'd be afraid to do that just to start off. Yeah, we learn fear. So we have a variety of different experiences. We get hurt or lost. We have embarrassments. And then what happens is there's a switch that starts to happen where we start to feed our fears more than we feed our desires or what it is that we long for. And all of that subconscious sentiment starts running the show. You know, I mentioned this earlier, 95% of who you are by the age of 35 is submerged deep underneath your context window in your subconscious. And this 95% has been busy since the moment you were born, recording every single event and experience that's ever happened. Every single thing that you've taken in through any one of your senses. You see it, you hear it, you taste, you touch, you smell. And it all comes together and builds our context window. So it looks something like this. There's some kind of information that gets filtered through our context window. And in a nanosecond, 95% of the time, at a subconscious, unconscious level, we assess that information, we analyze it, and we come up with some sort of judgment based on our own personal beliefs and opinions and attitudes and truths about the situation. And then, based on our judgment, we're going to take some kind of response to it. We're going to participate in some kind of way with whatever the information is that we're taking in. And this is what we call a behavior. So we deploy some kind of behavior in response to what it is that we're filtering. And it's this action right here that actually leads us to our results in life. And when we want to make change to results in our life, we have a tendency to focus here because that's the part we can consciously connect with. You know, we have enough awareness to know that led to that. So if I want that to change, don't do that again. And then I attempt to add some willpower to it to make change to a behavior, or I try and do a hard left. But all of that subconscious sentiment is still running the show. So it's really important for us to find out what are all the beliefs and attitudes and opinions? What are all those subconscious pieces of belief systems going on that are really running the show? Yeah, this context window is so important and so powerful. It's just the very first thing we look at out of the gate, and it's the foundation from there on in, because it really determines, this really determines what your experience in life is going to be. And it really determines how you're going to participate and respond to that which is happening in your life. And I mentioned to you earlier that if you want to make real change in your life, you have to get more familiar with everything underneath that. What is underneath informing all of this stuff that's rolling up into that top 5% that you're aware of? You're going to want to take a closer and more in-depth look at your own personal context window if you want to make change in your life. And then really discover which pieces really motivate you to live your best life, and even more importantly, discover which pieces really limit you and ultimately are getting in the way of having the quality of experience in your life that you say you really want. That is your birthright. It's your birthright to have that. Yeah. So the intention here is to really shift your context so you can make it work for you rather than against you. And the reality is, really, that most of us don't carve out the kind of time necessary to do this kind of self-reflection work. Never mind that most of us don't even know how to do that kind of work. Where do I even start with that? What we have a tendency to do then is we tend to start focusing outside of ourselves because we're at a loss here. So we start looking at you or him or her or it or the thing. You got to change. Once this changes, everything around me needs to change. Or we start looking outside of ourselves for things to fill in the gaps so that we feel like we're getting more juice. And when we do that, the reality is we're still operating on autopilot. That 95% is actually still running the show. And what happens is all those unconscious behaviors, responses, belief systems, we find ourselves doing the same old thing in the same old way, getting the same old results over and over again. And then we get frustrated and wonder, why won't anything change? Why can't I get long-lasting change? You need to dig deep. You need to dig a little deeper. You may need to look outside of your own box. Yeah. Have a context shift so that you can start to see things differently. This is why you'll have 10 people witness a car accident and they'll have 10 different stories. Based on their own underpinnings underneath this, they're going to see information and filter out other information because we have a tendency to want to be right about the way we see things. Who here likes to be right? Right. Okay. Who here likes to be wrong? Nobody really says, I want to be wrong all day long. I'd love it if I was made publicly wrong in front of my peers. We're just not hardwired that way. So we get a little bit stuck. So I want to give you a quick glimpse into your own context window so you can discover a little bit more of how it contributes to results and therefore is creating your reality in your life. So I'm going to give you a quick example. So underneath your chair, you have a pencil and a piece of paper. And you can do this at home too. Grab a piece of paper and a writing device. Thank you. Yeah.
Grab yours.
Your friend will get it. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. On this piece of paper, I want you to draw these 9 dots, just like you see them. Okay? 9 dots, just like you see them.
I agree. I don't remember.
Right?
I know you should.
So this little puzzle, this little exercise is going to require really having a context shift. Let's see how you make out, okay? So your assignment is this. Your assignment is to connect all 9 of these dots, okay? Connect all 9 of these dots using only 4 continuous straight lines. In other words, you need to connect all 9 of these dots with your pen not leaving the paper. So 4 continuous lines. You are permitted to use 4 straight lines, and you can cross over an existing line 1 time only. Okay, so I'm going to run through this again, so hang on before you get started. Stay with me. They say 2 heads together can be better than 1. So I want to partner you up with another head. I want to support you to solve this puzzle, okay? So I want you to work with a new set of eyes. So somebody that you didn't know prior to coming into the room. Get a different perspective, okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to partner up with someone, get up, move around. I'll tell you when to get started so we all start together at the same time, okay? So get up, find somebody to work with, and then I'll give you the next step, okay? So find somebody that you work with.
I know you? No.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I know
Spread around, get a little room around yourself so that your neighbors aren't stealing your ideas.
I don't really know Wendy.
All right.
The partner there too.
So who's still looking for a partner?
You can join me.
Okay, who's still looking for a partner? Has everyone got a partner? There you go. Okay, so everybody.
There you go.
Hello. Bring your awareness back here for 1 minute. I'm just going to run through this again, okay? So your assignment is to connect all 9 of these dots using 4 straight, continuous lines. You can only backtrack over an existing line 1 time. Okay? Here's a hot tip. Oh, now I got your attention. Now, here's a hot tip. Think outside the box. Right, you have 3 minutes. Go! 3 minutes. You 2 at home. Go!
I can't be your partner.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Ask her how to do it. Emma's my partner.
Yeah.
We gotta think aside.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna do hearts. Apparently we're doing hearts.
I'm just gonna go for it. We call me like. Okay, well we can over that. No.
I feel like you started.
Nice belt.
Yeah.
Like a short one now.
Okay.
That's our at-home entertainment. Outside box. 4 continuous lines.
There go my sore cheeks again,
Now,
Kim.
problem solved.
Because we can cross lines.
Yeah,
No pressure, but you only have just over 2 minutes left.
So, 4 to connect. 1 can cross the line.
they can cross. You just cannot take your pencil off the paper.
Make it at home. Has anyone got it yet at home? No.
I'm not sure yet.
Oh, somebody at the back thinks she has it.
4 straight lines.
Got a minute and a half left. Oh, a minute and a half. No pressure, but the whole secrets to the universe rely on this winning this. So.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm used to. I know Ashley knows the answer.
Losing that. I do
1
know.
minute.
Yeah, I did it. No, I think Jessica got it.
Noodles!
What did you do over there, Jessica? What do you mean you don't have this?
Penny at home says she's got.
Oh, good.
There we go.
Do that again.
What? Nobody's got it. Did you get the
Yes. Straight lines.
Penny's got it at home.
No, I said that. We can rewind it. 4 continuous straight lines. You can only back over a written line 1 time.
Penny's got it at home.
Who does?
Penny.
Yay, Penny! We'll see.
Good job.
All right, now don't show anyone. Let's see. Let me see. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. All right, bring yourself back to your seats. Thank your partner with a high five. High five. High five. You're wonderful. And come on back.
Did you guys get it? I didn't know you. I don't know.
All right.
Here.
Curious to know.
One of my drugs.
All right, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Okay, curious to know, with the show of hands, how many of you solved the puzzle? A couple of you did. Okay. Okay, we're gonna verify results in just a minute.
You got it?
Hopefully some people at home got it as well. So the point of this exercise is to demonstrate that your context window is actually filtering its own framework, and with that it brings along its own inherent limitations. And so, how many of you, how about this, how many of you felt that you were one step away? How many of you got 3 lines done and didn't quite get to the last one? Close, really close. Yeah, a few of you. Yeah, seems like most of us. Oh yeah, okay, sure. Okay, so here's the solution to the puzzle. You ready? Okay. So I did say think outside the box, right? Okay, so we start here. Go down, this is 1 line. Ooh, outside the box. 2 lines. Ooh, outside the box. 3 lines. And 4 continuous lines, only crossing over a line once. Right? Turn to your neighbor, give him a high five. Yeah. Isn't it interesting that even when you're given the instructions to literally think outside the box, even when partnered up with another perspective, your context only perceives what it perceives. It only perceives what it can see and understand. And thinking outside of the box really requires a willingness to look at the puzzle from a different perspective. And this requires accessing a higher or broader level of creative thinking. And really that higher, broader level of creative thinking is what allows for a contextual shift to happen. You see, these are the kinds of shifts that can create very different kinds of results in our lives in the future. Being able to think creatively, think out of the box, think beyond the framework that you have. I encourage you to go back and take a look at your own context that you hold about some of the things that you really want in your life that you say you don't currently have. You know, there's very likely some piece of limiting context you're holding on to, or some aspect of you, of your life, that is getting in the way of creating what it is that you say that you really want for yourself. And maybe, just like this exercise, maybe you're just one shift away at really connecting the dot for yourself, so you can make that kind of change and have those kinds of goals and resolutions or dreams that you want in your life. What if it was only one shift away? Wouldn't it be worth exploring? Creating shifts in your context or reframing the filters of your window leads to extraordinary change in your results without extraordinary effort. I mean, how many of you are already aware this evening of some self-limiting beliefs that you have that are impacting the quality of life that you want for yourself? Okay, great. At least you know. At least you have the awareness of that. That's already a step ahead of many people. But now that you know what you know, you can no longer pretend you don't know. And it's about really taking that awareness and really deepening your understanding of it and of yourself. You know, and that's what the pursuit of excellence is all about. When you take the pursuit of excellence, your awareness of yourself deepens dramatically. Why is it that I do what I do? You know, why is it that I respond the way that I do? Why is it that I currently have the results that I have in my life? This really ultimately puts you in the driver's seat of your life to really increase your ownership around living the richest, fullest experience of life possible. And on top of it, we set you up with several tools and concepts and strategies that really empower you to be, do, and have all that it is that you say you really want for yourself. And guess what? That context window is just the very first tool you work on in the pursuit of excellence. There's over 20 different concepts and strategies to really support you in flourishing in your life. So just to wrap this up then, you know, the pursuit of excellence is all about lifelong learning. I mean, what you learn about yourself in this program never goes stale. Over 22 years ago is when I first did my pursuit of excellence, and I still carry that learning in all of my day-to-day activity to this day. And I know graduates who have done this program 38 years ago and still use all these tools and concepts every day in their life. It is really about creating long-lasting results. Again, it's not about focusing on behavioral change as much as it is going back to the origin of the behavior, going back to the filter and really cleaning up that filter and examining what can I shift here so that everything there on in is dramatically different. I don't know about you, but if I can take an easy street, I'm gonna take an easy street. You know, I like a hack that's gonna help me get to that same result in a far more effective way. I'm all about that. It's also about fulfillment, really creating long-lasting meaning for your life. And about really getting in the driver's seat, understanding that you are the one with the hands on the steering wheel. I mean, once you really own that, then it takes you to a whole other level. And you realize that you're really in charge of where this vehicle is going. It's extremely practical and highly effective. I mean, over 12 years of research and development was put into developing the pursuit of excellence so that it would be the most effective for all people of all learning styles, of all ages. How many of you really learn best visually, seeing the information? Yeah, a lot of visual learners. How about audio, like listening to it, hearing it? Some as well. What about experiential, actually doing it? I know for me, that's where I really have a deeper learning myself. So all of this is taken into account in the program. You really get a toolkit for life, some real life tools. How many of you dislike conflict? Powerful tool in here on how to deal with conflict and really to focus on a win-win with it. Tools for understanding different personality styles, tools for understanding the value of agreements, and tools for taking more ownership in your life, increasing your responsibility, tools for finding a beacon, a purpose, to really keep you moving forward towards what it is you say that you want. Fabulous tools in here, actually. Tools like crazy. It is fun and it is inspiring. I had a blast in my pursuit of excellence. How many of our graduates had a really good time? Yeah, so it was so much fun. And that's all part of that high level of learning. You know, when I have a really good time, I'm more apt to absorb the information, and which then deepens my understanding of myself. And it is virtually risk-free. We offer a money-back guarantee on our product, and more on that in a minute. Can't give you your time back. Unfortunately, I haven't quite mastered the time travel. Working on it. And I want you to know that we see a variety of people take our courses for a variety of reasons. A lot of successful people come and take our course because they're ready to take their game to the next level. They want to notch it up. I see a lot of people wanting to make long-lasting change in their results in an area of their life. People like me who are feeling just somewhat unsatisfied, unfulfilled in their life, or people who have a goal, or even more importantly, a life dream that they have decided, you know, now is good. Why am I waiting? I want to get out of my own way. Everyone has different reasons for taking our courses, but somewhere along the journey of life, we have events that are wake-up calls for us. You know, we have wake-up calls, and they're called a wake-up call because they are calling us to wake up to a different set of action in some way. So in those moments, I think when we have those wake-up calls, you know, we feel inspired to make change. How many of you know this? Oh, that's it. Here, I'm changing this, and that's never going to happen again. And then, before we know it, we've slid back into our old way of being. You know, we really need to dig down a little deeper and find out what is driving all of that so that we can really make the change that we want. Because hopefully, all of you at some point in time here, if not in one of those wake-up calls, let this one be one right now. This is your life right now. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is your life right now. And if you're not going to get in the driver's seat and live the best possible life for yourself, who's going to do that for you? That's your job to do that for you. You know, the average person lives 27,500 days. I know some of you are doing math right now. It's, you know, it's 75-ish. You know, and that's the average person. But the real mystery of life is that we really don't know where we are on that continuum. You know, we can look back and we can say, oh, I checked off, you know, 18,000 days. But I don't know that I still have another 10,000 ahead of me. That's one of the mysteries of life. But what I do know is that I have the power right here, right now, to make this day, this moment, this journey, exactly what I want it to be. That's our job. So, on that note, I can stand up here all day long and I can tell you about why I think this course is something that everyone should take, but I thought it would be helpful to hear from someone other than me. Clearly I have a biased opinion, but we have a recent graduate who just finished the Pursuit of Excellence, and I asked her if she would come up front and just share with you the value that she got out of taking this course. So I'm going to invite Tu Long to come up front. Everyone, welcome to. Oh yeah, sure.
Thanks, Kim.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Tu.
Good to see you all here today. It's my pleasure to stand here today to give you guys some insight, not really insight, my experience for the last weekend. Before I got into the course, I was a little lost, kind of what I was going to do for the rest of my life in terms of my career. What was it going to look like? Was how it's gonna be, how I can achieve it, I just like all over the place. I said like, okay. And my life partner is asking like, okay, if you have a chance to do something, what do you want to do? I was just like, not sure yet, blah blah blah, something like that. And I'm really looking for like how I can find myself, how I can find a vision, the purpose of that. And the course that I took here, the Pursuit of Excellence, that actually gave me what I wanted to do. I finally, last weekend, I found the vision, I found the purpose that what I want to do here. And it even gave me the confidence to stand up here today in front of you guys, talking about it. It's actually before last weekend, it's out of my comfort zone. That like who was with me the last weekend noticed that I was like one of the most quiet person in the room. It's not here today. Yeah. And then Tuesday I took actually not one course but 2 courses of like personal growth in order to like learn more about what I want to achieve in my futures. So if you guys want to live your life to the fullest, if you guys want to live like every day is the best day of your life, and you want to find the purpose of your life, I would recommend go right there to register the course.
Fabulous.
Thank you. Yes, you got my evidence.
And I'm gonna attest to what she said. She was the quietest person in the room. And now she's up here owning it. I just love it. High five to you. Fantastic. Okay, so here's what you need to know to make a decision. About your pursuit of excellence. So the pursuit of excellence for you is scheduled from November 2nd to 4th. We hold our programs at Fortius Sports and Health. It's in Burnaby, right next door to 8 Rings, Burnaby 8 Rings. The program runs Friday from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. But the tuition for the course is actually $695, but we want to play win-win with you, so we take $100 off the tuition for you tonight. It's a call to action. So it brings it down to $595 for you. 2 things that I think are really particularly worth mentioning is that we offer a 100% money-back guarantee. I don't even know where else you can find that kind of guarantee these days. But what we offer is that if you take the Pursuit of Excellence and at the end of the program, if you get no value, and it's value by your definition, we will give you 100% of your money back. Here's what I want you to know. In over 40 years, with literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of graduates around the world, our request for a return on the tuition is less than 1%. So that tells me that there is a 99% chance that you're going to get value out of this. There's a 99% chance you're going to get what you're looking for from this program. The other thing that is fabulous about this product is the lifetime audit privilege. So we believe that learning is a lifelong event. You know, I don't know about you, but who I am today is very different than who I was 10 years ago. 20 years ago, very different. Drastically different 30 years ago. Because we are ever growing and changing. Our circumstances are forever growing and changing. And we want to continue to be masterful in how we navigate our way through life. So we keep the door open for our graduates. That means you can, for the rest of your life, for free, come back and do the Pursuit of Excellence as many times as you want. For free, for the rest of your life. It's brilliant. I mean, those of us who are committed to realize our full potential, who really want to walk our pathway of mastery, know that we're never arriving at the station. Mastery isn't a destination that you arrive at as much as it is a practice in how I walk through life. I've gone and done all of our programs more than once. Why wouldn't I? I want to keep growing. Yeah. Love that about our product. So I want you to bring to mind just want to say that one more thing about that is that one of the things I love about that is that I keep peeling back layers and discovering what is the greatest expression of myself yet to be. You know, and giving myself permission to discover other parts of myself, giving myself permission to grow and discover new parts of the journey. It's rich, delicious. So I want you to bring to mind now my presentation, and if there's anything that I said here this evening that stands out to you or tweaked on you and you thought, oh, that might be valuable for me, then I want to encourage you to do whatever it takes to give yourself the best gift that you could ever give yourself, and that is reserving yourself a seat in the November Pursuit of Excellence. And if you find yourself sitting on the fence right now, I'm going to challenge you. If you're sitting there going, well, I think, and I'm not 100% sure, I'm going to challenge you. Take the leap. What's the worst that could happen? The worst that would happen is that you'll have invested, 3 days of your 27,500 days on yourself for you in the intention of self-discovery. And if after those 3 days, worst case scenario, you've given up those 3 days, you've met some really great people, I'm sure you'll learn some great stuff, I'll give you your money back. That's the worst case scenario. Yeah. So, just so that we're all on the same page here, this translates to you investing less than $21 an hour on yourself for 1 weekend. That's what it's really boiling down to. Worst case scenario, you've heard. Here's the other worst case scenario. One of my favorite quotes that I know to be from Albert Einstein is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you want to get different results in your life, you need to stop doing the same thing over and over again. If you're ready for different and long-lasting results in your life, if you're ready to stop doing the same thing over and over again, then it's time to begin your own personal pursuit of excellence. And one last thing I want to say in closing. If you're here tonight because a graduate invited you to be here, here's what I know for sure. You're really important to them. They value you. You have value in their life. We encourage our people, bring your people who are important so they have an opportunity to live their best life. And the other thing I know for sure is based on their own experience in this program, they got some value out of this and they really believe there's value there for you. Otherwise, they would not have extended this invitation for you to come out here tonight. So now you are at an intersection. You're at an intersection. You need to make a decision. Are you going to put your foot on the gas? You're going to put your foot on the gas, because if you're going to put your foot on the gas, it's your opportunity to register. Now, I know that there's some of you here that will want the entire Excellence series. I know that. I can smell people who can really smell results for themselves. Can you smell something cooking? So if you do know right now that you want that whole series for yourself, if you want that level of learning, then do go and see Andrea tonight. She has a special price for you tonight for the whole package. But at a bare minimum, take a step forward on your own behalf and take a step forward and enroll in the Pursuit of Excellence for yourself tonight. The other thing I want to say is that if you have any questions that haven't been answered, feel free to come up and talk to me. I'll do my best to answer those. Graduates here in the room would love to talk to you as well. They have blue borders on their name tag. Go, feel free to go approach them and ask them, what value they got. And the last thing I want to say in closing is congratulations to our newest graduates of the Pursuit of Excellence. I'm so proud of you all. Great job done in the program. And in the spirit of celebration, we have some cake. We have some cake to celebrate. And to all of our previous graduates who came out tonight to support the event, tonight is a really special night because this is the last night that we will be in this hotel. This hotel is going to be torn down, and there are going to be new developments happening in this whole area. So all of you at home and all of you here that have a connection to the property, maybe just say, a few words in gratitude as we say goodbye to the building. Thank you everybody for coming out. Have a great, great night. Have some cake and go see Andrea at the back table to reserve your seat. Thanks so much for your great participation.